and home for an opportunity to win a division title.
It is time to reestablish ourselves as the dominant team in the division.
Touchdown, Texans! What an effort! Indianapolis has done it! Incredible! Here in Houston, what's at stake? Indianapolis will clinch a playoff berth with a win today. At this point a year ago, they were 0-13. Houston will clinch the AFC South title with a victory today. The Texans enter action at 11-2, coming off the 42-14 loss in New England on Monday night. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish, where available, using the SAP button on your television. Bruce Arians, the interim head coach of the Colts, 8-2 since taking over for Chuck Pagano. The plan right now is for Pagano to return Week 17 to this team. And Gary Kubiak made his feelings known right after the game against New England with a spirited speech to his squad. Houston has won the toss. We're underway from Reliant Stadium. The kickoff from McAfee, Keyshawn Martin. A touchback for the Texans. They'll have it at the 20-yard line. And Matt Schaub, he has won 15 of his last 17 starts entering action here today, Dan.
Yeah, and he told our group yesterday that lately the Texans have struggled on third downs because they haven't done much on first and second down, setting up third and longs. He wants to up-tempo today to simplify Indy's defense and maybe wear them down physically.
He's also won 8 straight against the AFC South. On a quick hitter, they get going with Andre Johnson. Matt made mention in our meetings that they had a penalty on their first play of the game against New England and set a poor tone. Derek Newton back after missing 2 straight games with a knee injury. He's on the right side of that line. Backs and receivers. Arian Foster has put up huge numbers in his career against Indianapolis, averaging 163.7 rushing yards per game. Bootleg, Shaw. Bomb is thrown. Andre Johnson, he's got it! And Houston opening up with a bang. In a matchup with Vontae Davis, Johnson wins out.
Just to start, the Texans were hoping for a short split that time by Johnson. Got him free. Vontae Davis actually comes over from his cornerback spot. Spectacular catch as Davis did everything he could to keep Johnson from making that catch.
It sets Houston up in the red zone. Running play. Foster right up the middle. Foster cuts his way inside the 15 for a 6-yard pickup. Antoine Bethea the hit. Defensively for Indianapolis up front, Corey Redding among the veterans on this group defensively, which includes linebackers, and Pat Angerer getting the start. Cavell Connor did not make the trip. Connor out with a hamstring injury. In the secondary, Cassius Vaughn, the AFC Defensive Player of the Week after his performance against Tennessee. The interception and touchdown, also had 8 tackles, a 27-23 win over the Titans. 2nd and 4 for Houston. Tripped up. Foster. Chris Myers, the starting center, is who Foster got tied up with. And Foster stumbles down for no gain.
Now the important thing for the Indy defense is to do exactly that. Prevent Foster from getting to the outside, setting the edge and then forcing him to cut back into the linebackers in the middle.
So it brings up 3rd and 4 now, opening drive of the day. Lestar Jean, the 3rd receiver on for Houston. Motion man is Johnson. On 3rd down, running play. Foster upended short of the 10-yard line, which means well short of a first down. Cassius Vaughn helping in run support. And Houston fans want to see the offense remain on the field, but that's not what Gary Kubiak is going to do.
Well, they had such great momentum, too, with the big play to Andre Johnson down the middle, but Kubiak wants these points.
So Shane Graham on for a short field goal attempt for Houston to get on the board. 29-yarder. Graham kicking for his 8th NFL team. Donnie Jones will hold it. John Weeks the snapper. From 29 yards away, Graham bangs it through. Houston in front, 3-0 over Indianapolis. Houston native Andrew Luck on the field with the Colts offense when we come back. Houston Texans open up with a 6-play, 69-yard drive. It took 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Graham, the 29-yard field goal. Texans leading at 3-0 over Indianapolis. Graham will now kick it off. Deji Kareem, who was just signed this week because of all the injuries at running back. Kareem was in training camp with the Colts. He's the return man. Former Jacksonville Jaguars going to take it out. Flag thrown as he crossed the 20-yard line. Justin Forsett making the play on special teams. And we will hear from Jeff Triplett for the first time today.
During the return, holding number 37 to the return team. Half the distance for the goal, first down.
And that's the other running back they picked up this week, Mewelde Moore, who's called on the penalty.
Go back to that 52-yard bomb for the Texans. Here's the play-action fake here. This is Vontae Davis coming over here to guard Andre Johnson. Watch Davis a little late there, then goes with the play fake. He does a great job of reacting and getting back to the underthrown ball and preventing the touchdown to Andre Johnson.
So the Colts open up deep in their own territory. 11:41 mark of this first quarter. Double tight end set with Fleener and Allen for Indianapolis. Running play, Vic Ballard. Ballard keeps the legs churning and picks up extra yardage. Give him a total of 5 on the play as he lost his helmet in the process. Andrew Luck attended high school 25 minutes from here at Stratford High School in Houston.
And as far as playing here in his hometown, he says, well, it's just going to be like any other game. It's a business trip. He promises he won't be too emotional about it. We shall see.
Now, Bruce Arians asked him after all the media attention, should I be talking to you about this Houston thing? He's like, nah, I might go see my grandparents. That's about it. Don't worry, coach. 2nd and 5 for Indy. Ballard by himself in the backfield. Reggie Wayne goes in motion. Luck looks, Luck throws, incomplete in the direction of Donnie Avery, but that pocket was collapsing around Andrew Luck.
Well, Luck has been beaten and battered and sacked a number of times today, and he's going to be facing this type of pressure all afternoon. The Texans come in with 37 sacks, and they've knocked down 35 balls at the line of scrimmage.
Luck actually played here at Reliant Stadium as a junior in a playoff game, lost to Cypress Falls. Dime package here for Houston on 3rd and 5. Luck incomplete. Wayne was looking for a flag. Glover Quinn with a defensive play for Houston. It's 4th down.
Yeah, Quinn had great coverage there. It took a long time for Reggie Wayne to try to get away from him. Luck waiting and waiting, and now the ball just slightly thrown behind Wayne, and that allowed Quinn to knock it down. But it's another 3 and out for the Colts, something that Luck talked about yesterday with us. The Colts can't afford to do. They've got to start faster, but that penalty on the kickoff really pushed them back.
Slow starts against Detroit, against Tennessee. They came from behind in both of those games. McAfee the punt, Keyshawn Martin the return man, but that one angled out of bounds. A 50-yard punt. Texans will get it back with a 3-0 lead over Indy. A shopping skating combo at the Galleria here in Houston with the Texans in front. 3-0 over Indianapolis for complete pro football coverage, including everything you need to know from this weekend's matchups all the way through Super Bowl 47. Visit CBSSports.com/NFL. Playoff picture in the AFC. There's Houston. If they win out the rest of the season, they will be the #1 seed in the AFC. Indianapolis 9-4, and they've got the game-and-a-half lead over Cincinnati for the wild card. There was a penalty at the end of that play as we were away. 5 yards against Indianapolis. Gunner went out of bounds on his own and didn't come back inbounds, and it cost the Colts 5. Up the middle for Arian Foster. Foster carries across the 45 for a 4-yard pickup in a double tight end set for Houston. Antonio Johnson makes the play for Indy.
Yeah, the big thing for this Texan team is to get Foster more carries. Obviously, last week against New England, the game got out of hand. Texans were down 21-0, so his carries and his yards per carry way down.
15 carries, 46 yards, and a touchdown last week in the loss. Schaub slings to Owen Daniels. And good enough for a first down. Vontae Davis a little bit slow as he tried to get up. Davis came over in a trade with the Miami Dolphins, the 25th pick overall back in 2009. Acquired for a second-round pick, of course, his older brother Vernon, the tight end with the 49ers. Davis is up, but we'll step aside. Vontae Davis appears to be okay, probably just had the wind knocked out of him on that play. Ryan Grigson, the GM of the Colts, recognized that there was a need at corner. They traded for Davis. They traded for Cassius Vaughn. They traded for Josh Gordy. Vaughn has really paid off. He has exceeded expectations after coming over from Denver. Arian Foster creating. It wasn't there on the initial loop, and he cuts back for a 5-yard gain, but he is limping a bit as Pat Angerer eventually made the stop.
Well, Angerer actually missed the tackle in the backfield and then circled back to make the tackle. There's Angerer, 51, but he doesn't give up on this. He dives in there late. And the question now is, why did Foster get up limping?
Vontae Davis back on the field. Schaub to throw it. Sets up the deep ball. Schaub sideline too far for Lestar Jean. Good coverage there by Cassius Vaughn. Vaughn, he came over from Denver, Dan, and a big part of his experience was learning from Champ Bailey,
who happened to be his childhood idol. So he spent a lot of time with Bailey. He knew that the trade was disappointing at first to come over from Denver, but he knew the Colts wanted him. And that means a great deal to a player to know that, hey, maybe somebody doesn't think you're good enough, but hey, they want me. They're going to start me. I'm going to play. And as you said, Ian, he's played very, very well.
In fact, he went to Bailey after the trade, and Champ told him, you know what? It's going to work out fine for you. The throw. Great hands. Owen Daniels. He's made a catch in 81 straight games. That's another one for Daniels. 8 yards, and they'll move the chains.
Yeah, it's a bunch formation, and this gives a lot of teams problems. Here's Daniels. He'll cut over the middle as Walter and Martin will clear out. Just a single one-on-one, but really it's the catch that made it. Beating Darius Butler there with reaching out with his hands. Never really pulled the ball back to his body.
And Daniels has just quietly had an excellent season, career high in touchdowns with 6. New set of downs for Houston. Stutter step. Foster lowers the helmet, drives inside the 30. It's a 3-yard gain. Angerer there once again defensively for Indianapolis.
Yeah, the success that Arian Foster has had against the Colts, that's pretty awesome. 6.9 per carry and the 5 rushing touchdowns. Foster on the season has 14 rushing touchdowns, so expect him to get the ball when the Texans are down near the goal line.
Arian Foster closing in on 1,200 yards rushing this season. Play fake. Perfect pass. Schaub to Casey. And a flag thrown at the 35-yard line. That covers 9 yards.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Wade Smith for holding.
Now Jeff Triplett moving in the other direction. Let's see what the call is.
Alias to hands to the face, number 65 of the defense. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Well, it was just a real brief hand to the face.
7-5-3.
By Kellen Hurd against Wade Smith. Just a little bit of a left-handed jab here. Here is Smith, and here is Hurd. Watch the left hand of Hurd go right up into the face right there. That was enough to get the penalty. Great job of blocking by Wade Smith as he also threw out his left leg to keep Hurd away from the quarterback.
8th play of the drive. Schaub with a deep drop. Schaub throws it too high. Looking to throw it out of bounds, and he does. Garrett Graham in the area. Corey Redding provided the pressure on Matt Schaub, who's now 5 of 7 for 86 yards.
Yeah, Garrett Graham is huge to have back in the lineup for the Texans. We've already seen the benefit as Owen Daniels has been able to split out wide to catch his first pass of the day. So watch for Daniels and even James Casey to get more balls in their direction, because Graham is a tight end and is a darn good blocking tight end.
Graham, a concussion, missed the New England game last week. It's all Houston so far. 106 yards of offense in this first quarter. Indy went 3 and out. Running into a crowd, Arian Foster. And a gain of 1. Pat Angerer again making the stop for Indy. You know, this Colts defense, every player we talked to would mention Greg Minuski's name, the defensive coordinator, his attitude, the way he's handled this group.
He's a former player, and he knows about just that, what it means and what it takes to be a player. And how about bouncing back from after getting fired last year by the San Diego Chargers as their defensive coordinator, and now coming here and putting together a group that's 9-4.
Dwight Freeney said the fact that he is a former player, he can relate to these guys, but he'll also remind you every day he played 12 years in the NFL. Schaub pumps and throws. Oh! Andre Johnson staying with the play. It looked like the ball was going to hit the ground, but Johnson didn't give up. 10-yard pickup and a new set of downs for Houston.
Well, watch Johnson come in from the right side of the screen. Here he is here. It's a crossing route. Spectacular double catch here. This ball almost was intercepted by Bethea. He disturbed Johnson long enough to have the bobble, but how about that grab?
First and goal now. Johnson, 3 catches, 71 yards. Up the middle, Foster takes it just short of the 5-yard line. Give him a gain of 4 on the play. Kellen Hurd with the stop for Indy.
Andre Johnson off to a great start. 3 catches, 71 yards. Of course, that 52-yarder that got them there in field goal range last time out, but this is exactly the start that Kubiak had in mind. Fast start, high energy. Something the Colts have got to be real worried about.
12th play of the drive. Texans trying to add to their lead. Foster in the backfield. Walter the motion man for Houston. Running play. Foster slicing through and picks up 2 yards. Corey Redding there to greet him.
I thought it was interesting in talking to Pat Anger about how do you stop Arian Foster. He said it's real important that we set the edge, and maybe as linebackers we don't fly as fast. We always have to be looking for the cutback, and so far they've been able to bottle up Arian Foster just a bit as Anger has to go to the sidelines, and that's critical down here near the goal line.
3rd and goal for Houston. Empty backfield, shotgun formation for Schaub. Schaub pumps, throws, Foster curls in, touchdown, Texans. Johnson, Andre Johnson with the catch and the curl.
Well, Cassius Vaughn is just playing too deep on this slant route by Andre Johnson. Johnson just takes 1 or 2 steps up the field, comes inside quickly, Schaub right on target, and Johnson walks into the end zone. He's done that a number of times, 56 times now in his career.
4th touchdown of the season. Andre Johnson, the 5-time Pro Bowler, has added to the Houston lead, and it's 10-0 Texans. Houston making an early statement against their division foe. Here in the first quarter in Houston, the Texans extend their lead thanks to a 13-play, 57-yard drive. Andre Johnson, 3-yard touchdown for Houston. The loss last week to New England snapped a 6-game winning streak. But even in some of those wins, there were questions as to how the Texans were playing, pulling out some close games against subpar competition. Deji Kareem breaking a tackle and brought down at the 20-yard line. That's where the Colts will have it after the hit by Quentin Depps.
Go back to the touchdown eye, and this is really a well-done play by Kevin Walters. He comes out here, and he's just going to cause enough traffic that Cassius Vaughn can't stay close enough to Andre Johnson. Does not make contact there, just enough to knock Vaughn off his path. Easy score for Andre Johnson.
So Indianapolis has it for the 2nd time today. Running play. It's Ballard. Getting it to the outside, but not a whole lot there. Picks up 2 yards. Danielle Manning with the hit. Offensively for Indianapolis, no Samson Satelli, no Winston Justice. So A.Q. Shipley starts in the middle, and Jeff Linkenbach is on the right side. Joe Wrights is back in the lineup on the left side. Backs and receivers. Ballard coming off a strong performance in the win over Tennessee. Had 94 yards rushing, a new career high for the rookie out of Mississippi State. Colts have won 7 of their last 8, including 3 in a row. Movement, and that play never happens. Houston jump, but Indy is claiming that it was all the Texans. Obviously, Houston says that Indy coaxed them off sides. Mike McGlynn and Antonio Smith movement up front.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 94 in the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And it is Antonio Smith, the veteran, called on the penalty. Defensively, J.J. Watt frustrated last week against New England. Watt and this Houston defense very focused here today. Whitney Merciless making his 3rd straight start for the injured Brooks Reed. And in the secondary, Jonathan Joseph coming back last week. Joseph himself probably wasn't 100% bouncing back from injury. Indy will try to test him here today. Flag thrown. Watt loses his helmet. Vic Ballard running into a crowd for no gain for Indy.
I don't think Watt needs a helmet. He is unbelievable.
Alias to hands to the face. Number 99 in the defense. 5 yards will be added in the run. Automatic first down.
That is a great call by the officials, because watch Watt get his right hand up into the face of number 74, Anthony Costanzo. Watt made the tackle, lost his hat, but that twice now we've seen illegal hands to the face by defensive linemen here in the first quarter.
Now, Gary Kubiak made a point of that when our group spoke with him. 26 penalties in the last 3 weeks. Poor showing from that standpoint, especially from the young players. On first down, play fake. Luck steps up. Oh, he's hammered! Luck takes a shot. He was devoured by the likes of Antonio Smith and company.
I know you can split sacks in half, but can you split them in thirds? Boy, they did not respect the play action fake at all on that first down play. Luck turns around, and they are right in his face. Antonio Smith and Watt and Brian Bremen.
So it's 2nd and 19. Sack number 6 this season for Antonio Smith. From the gun. Luck fires over the middle, and he's got Avery. Out across the 35-yard line as we get our first NFL Today update. Let's head to New York. JB,
Who's
Coach
dangerous in the red zone, Coach?
Gotta cover Tony Gonzalez, JB. Here, Matt Ryan finds him 12 yards out. They go up 14-0 already, jumping on the New York Giants.
Atlanta can clinch a first-round bye with the win, up 14-0 back to Ian and Dan.
And you know what, guys? Very similar situation for Atlanta to what Houston is going through. All the questions that they're dealing with in the NFC. After last week's performance. No doubt. 3rd and 4. From the gun. Luck. Too high and almost intercepted.
Now a late flag.
So the penalty marker is thrown back at the 42-yard line.
Kareem Jackson said the ball was uncatchable. But was it the hit after the ball sailed high that will draw the flag?
Personal foul. Number 25 in the defense. A hit on the defenseless receiver. 15 yards, automatic first down.
And you could see Bruce Arians motioning to the official. That's 3 times. So obviously this is something that the Colts coaching staff has noticed already in the physical play.
Well, here's Jackson. Watch him come in. He's already starting to lower his head. And he goes right to the chest. You can see that the ball was sailing high. Wayne relaxed, and boy, he got drilled.
Manning almost had the pick. 3rd defensive penalty on this drive against Houston. It sets Indianapolis up 1st and 10 inside Texan territory. On a gift for Ballard, and he's got a running lane. Vic Ballard. We spoke with him yesterday. He said, I went from not playing to playing a whole lot. And he said it's amazing in this league that your number can be called in a moment's notice.
I thought it was interesting when he was talking about what his biggest adjustment was. He didn't talk about running the ball, and he talked about pass protection.
Yep.
Well, I guess when your number one pick is Andrew Luck, that is the number one priority.
Yeah, it's funny how that might pop up first on a list of things that you need to do. Yeah, you did. You nodded your head when he said it. Ballard carrying the pile, and that's a 5-yard gain for Ballard and a first down for the Colts.
Well, you talked about the penalties that the Texans have had the last 3 games, all 3 of those games on the road. Very uncharacteristic to have those penalties here at home, and especially on this drive, they've given the Colts a lot of life here, and they're taking advantage of it with an impressive drive.
46 yards on this drive, 25 have come off of penalties. So Indy has gotten some help from Houston. Down to 52 seconds to play in the first quarter. Luck off the play action. Luck trying to circle, thrown down by Watt. 17.5 sacks this season for J.J. Watt.
Well, watch number 99 right here. Really easy to identify the number and the black brace on his left elbow. Tremendous move there on Mike McGlynn to get away and then get in the backfield. He may be as fast as Andrew Luck. 15 yards on that loss.
You know, he says he wears that brace. It's a preventative issue because the elbow's doing fine, but he said his grandma Chris and his great-grandma Sophie, who's 95, like it because they know where he is on the field. Incomplete. Reggie Wayne, the intended receiver. So the huge loss on the sack takes them out of field goal range as well, and now they face a 3rd and 25. J.J. Watt, a man unleashed in this first quarter, especially after the frustrations of last week's game against New England.
I think Jonathan Joseph learned a lesson. Kareem Jackson got the penalty for hitting Reggie Wayne a couple of minutes ago. Watch Joseph pull off this hit here, avoid the contact, and avoid the penalty.
3rd down for Indy. Luck steps up in the pocket. Luck throws on the move, and he had Hilton open too high. T.Y. Hilton only 5'9", and Luck unable to hit him as we end the first quarter in a flag thrown.
If Hilton makes that catch on him, they're in field goal range. Got to make that catch.
Penalty was against Indianapolis. Houston has declined it. We'll head to the second quarter. 10-0. Texans in front. The NFL on CBS. Big sack by J.J. Watt put Indianapolis out of field goal range. They almost got that yardage back, but the pass a little too high for T.Y. Hilton. There was a holding call against Lincolnbach, which was declined by Houston at the end of the first quarter. Now McAfee punting to start play in the second quarter. Keyshawn Martin, the rookie, fair catch called for. He hauls it in cleanly at the 12. 37-yard punt. Andre Johnson, he's been the face of the franchise. Houston looking for his 2nd straight division title, and Johnson doing his part. Houston with 126 total yards. Indianapolis with just 11 so far. Early stages, second quarter. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, rest of our CBS crew here at Reliant Stadium. Houston with a 10-0 lead over the Colts. 1st and 10 for the Texans. Fake the handoff. Oh, look out. Job just got blasted by Robert Mathis. Colts were not faked out off the play action.
It's lucky Schaub did not fumble this ball. Watch Mathis come totally free as Schaub comes out of the play action fake here. Nobody blocked number 98, and Schaub, first thing he sees is trouble. 8 yards all the way back to the 4-yard line as Mathis picks up another sack. That's 8 now on the season.
Well, Bruce Arians said the linebackers have to do a better job of reading and reacting against this Houston offense. Lots of bootlegs. Ben Tate met by Jarrell Freeman, and a 4.5-yard gain for Tate. Thought your fantasy season was over? It's not. NFL Playoff Challenge is back. Better than ever. You could win a trip to Super Bowl 48 in 2014. Play today at NFL.com/fantasy. 3rd and 13 now for Houston. Big play for this Indianapolis defense now, playing the field position game. Already in a 10-0 hole. Shotgun, they'll go conservative. And Ben Tate is dropped. The penalty marker is down.
That penalty is thrown 30 yards from where the ball was handed off. It's going to be, I believe, holding on Vontae Davis as he's trying to keep Andre Johnson under control.
So Jeff Triplett is going to sort it out.
Suspense is killing me.
Yeah, no, Jeff really built up the suspense there. When he goes for the mic, that's usually my cue mentally.
To lay out?
Yeah.
To bark?
He's just not following through with it.
This penalty may be against the Texans, or maybe no flag at all. They're going to pick this one up.
A lot of conversation, and now Houston's special teams is coming on. Oh, we got a problem with the button. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. It's been declined by Indianapolis, and we got to get Jeff a new mic.
Yeah, I would love an explanation. We're looking at all types of replays up here and not seeing anything that would warrant a flag on any penalty. That's been something somebody said.
Donnie Jones will punt it with T.Y. Hilton waiting at the 49-yard line. Jones out of his own end zone. He did not get all of that one. Out of bounds. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And they're going to mark this one out at the 37-yard line. That's where Indianapolis will take over. That was a rough sequence for the Texans. Donnie Jones, the veteran, has put his defense in a tough spot. Houston Texans 11-2 this season. Losses to Green Bay and New England. After that Green Bay loss, they beat up on Baltimore the following week, 43-13. And so far, Texans have responded well after the loss to New England last week. They've got a 10-0 lead on Indianapolis. Lowell Moore back on the roster after the injuries to Donald Brown and Robert Hughes. Danielle Manning with the stop. Let's head to New York. JB, Coach Cowher.
Hey, Dan Fouts, take a look at this move by Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, not RG3, but he can move out of the pocket and accurate on the run. Kirk Cousins, Leonard Hankerson, 54 yards, 7-7, Washington, Cleveland.
All right, let me get this one out the way early. Back to the bird and the beer.
And thank you, JB and the coach. Sounds like sitcom pilots, potentially. T.Y. Hilton underneath. Hilton busting it to the outside, and he's forced out of bounds.
He is lightning in a bottle. This is a slant route. They usually pick up about 8-9 yards, but with his speed, he makes the catch. Watch 74, Anthony Costanzo make that block right there. Then the speed of Hilton to get to the outside away from Merciless.
Now set up just inside the Houston 20. On the ground, Moore with a blast up the middle across the 15-yard line for a 6-yard gain. Shipley and Allen with key blocks for Indianapolis. Saturday, 4 Eastern, top 10 showdown. CBS Sports, 9th-ranked Kansas takes on 7th-ranked Ohio State. College basketball here on CBS. Now, this has all been set up by the defensive plays Indianapolis made to keep Houston deep in its own territory. The play made by Mathis on Schaub, and then the bad punt from Jones. Moore getting more touches. And J.J. Watt got him down low and was not going to let go. Loss of 2.
That was an incredible tackle by Watt. It's a one-handed tackle as he reaches out with his right hand. That is some real power and strength right there. Looked like Moore had some yardage to get to the left side.
You know what's great? Now in these stadiums, these screens are so big that players will just watch the play afterwards.
And admire their handiwork.
Yeah, I think JJ was admiring it. Just a little bit.
He should.
3rd and 6. From the gun. Luck throws off the ricochet. Flags are down. Harris and Reggie Wayne. The flags came flying.
Pass. Holding number 26 in the defense. The 5-yard penalty and automatic first down.
So this drive remains alive for Indianapolis.
Yeah, the pretty obvious call on Brandon Harris is Reggie Wayne trying to cut to the inside. Watch Harris here. Variously, basically he's going to grab him with the right hand, and the ball is on the way, holding before the ball was in the air.
Down a corner, the injury to Bryce McCain. He's on IR, but designated for return with a foot injury he suffered against Tennessee. 1st and goal on a slant. Donnie Avery breaks a tackle and brought down inside the 5. Jonathan Joseph tried to make the play initially, and Avery able to catch it and get some extra yardage.
Now you talk about momentum. Great job by Avery, but the momentum that was set up by the defensive stop, the bad punt, and how about this offensive line for the Colts and the job they're doing protecting Luck as of late. Samson Tatelli did not make the trip. A.Q. Shipley is starting at center. Winston Justice out. Lincoln Bach doing the job at right tackle.
And Joe Wright's back in the left guard spot after Seth Olson got the start last week. Jonathan Joseph was shaken up on the play. So he comes off for Houston. 2nd and goal coming up for Indy.
This is a situation where Samson Tatelli normally will play center when he's healthy, and A.Q. Shipley would be the fullback. But in this case, they're bringing in a linebacker, Mario Harvey, to be the fullback. Harvey, 6 foot, 265 pounds. Watch for him to be the lead blocker here.
2nd and goal for the Colts. Indy trying to get on the board. Moore in the backfield. Mewelde Moore fumbles the football. Houston's got it. Moore coughs it up. Tim Dobbins on the recovery for the Texans. And what a turn of events. Colts were on the verge of punching one in and getting right back in it. Instead, it's a turnover. Moore, who got signed to the roster earlier this week. The veteran Moore loses it. Houston takes over. Veteran Mewelde Moore goes back with Bruce Arians to his Pittsburgh days when Arians was running the offense there. Moore fumbles the ball at the 1, and Houston recovers it with a 1st and 10, leading 10-0. 10 minutes to go in this first half. Schaub out of the pocket, and Schaub will throw it away. That play just didn't look right from the beginning.
Let's go back to the fumble. Watch J.J. Watt here as he will get inside of Costanzo. Here is Dobbins as they both converge on the runner Moore at the same time. But J.J. with the first contact, Dobbins with the recovery, and it begs the question, where was Vic Ballard?
And Ballard on the Colts sideline. Moore was seeing most of the action at the running back spot on that drive for Indianapolis. 2nd and 10 now for Houston. Arian Foster gallops just short of the 5. Corey Redding with the stop. 3.5-yard gain.
You know, it's trailing 10-0. You might be tempted to say, well, Indy has them right where they want them. But against this team, you cannot afford to let opportunities get away from you. They've had good field position the last 2 times, down on the 2-yard line last time they had the ball. And the turnover, absolute killer for Indianapolis.
-17 now, turnover differential for Indianapolis this season. Only 10 takeaways in the first 13 games. That's the fewest in the NFL since 1950. 3rd and 6. Schaub. Foster catches in the end zone. Fortunate he got out of there. They don't get the first down, but they avoid disaster. Pick up a couple yards on the catch by Foster.
Yeah, it looked like Moises Foku was primed to make the tackle. Number 58 has Foster man-to-man. He goes flying by there. Foster with a great effort to get out of the end zone, get across the 5-yard line. Gary Kubiak breathing a little bit easier. That could have been a real disaster.
Well, Donnie Jones, last punt, traveled just 29 yards, facing a similar situation. Goes to the other side of the field, and this one taken in Indianapolis territory by Hilton. T.Y. Hilton, the spin move. And once again, excellent field position. Flag is thrown as Hilton crossed the 45-yard line of Houston.
Prior to the kick, holding offense.
52-yard punt, a 15-yard return. Jeff Triplett trying to find out what he wants to do, and it will be
4th down.
A re-kick. Now that's an interesting decision. Look at where Indianapolis would have had the field position.
Yeah, it was a good return that time. It looked like Donnie Jones.
Down, Indianapolis.
They're going to add the yardage to the end of the return here. So that's a proper decision. They'll get great field position to start this drive. Now they got to do something with it.
Andrew Luck trying to become the 5th rookie quarterback to win 10 or more games in his first season in the NFL. Colts interaction at 9-4. 0-13 at this point 1 year ago. They've been incredible in one-possession games. 8-1 in tight games. Houston is 5-0 in the same situation. On first down after the penalty, Luck is hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Connor Barwin putting the pressure on Andrew Luck. And Houston has pinned its ears back, and they are taking shots at the young QB.
Well, he's been sacked now 34 times this season, twice today for 24 yards. That big, long 15-yard sack by J.J. Watt pushed the Colts out of field goal range.
2nd and 10 now for the Colts. Just inside the 35. Running play. Ballard is back in there. Ballard to the outside. Vic Ballard. Excellent run as he hit the edge and turned it upfield for 19.
Yeah, he got a good block by the rookie Dwayne Allen coming over here. Fleener as well. And the kick-out block by Mike McGlinnan. A little bit more speed out of Ballard than I think the Texans were ready for as he got to the corner. Huge play on first down.
So 1st and 10 now. At the 15-yard line, trailing 10-0. We're down to 7:42 to play in the first half. It's a pitch to Ballard. And again, Ballard hits his spot. Looking to get to the perimeter. Anthony Costanzo has done excellent work on that left side of the line. And Ballard, depending upon where they spot it, looks like a 10-yard gain for him.
Well, you got big Anthony Costanzo, 6'7", 315, and he can run. Watch him make the kick-out block there on Joseph. Manning can't make the tackle, and Ballard has the ball at the 5-yard line, and he ain't coming out of the game now.
So here we go again. Indianapolis deep in Houston territory. Ballard is hit by Watt.
Yeah, he lines up all over the defensive line. A tackle on both sides, an end on both sides. This time he's working against McGlynn and Linkenbach. Watch the quickness here as he just sheds Linkenbach and then explodes into the backfield. 6'5", 295, great quickness and athletic ability.
Most sacks in Texans history, 17.5. The tackles for a loss, most in the NFL. Shotgun formation for Luck. On 2nd and goal for Indy. Luck in the pocket. Luck now makes his way outside and will toss it away. Again, the heat provided by J.J. Watt.
You talk about the sacks and the batted balls and the tackles for loss. When's the last time you had a guy, here he is right here, lead the team in solo tackles? Well, that's what Watt does as well.
It's also the relentless nature. Yeah. The motor is always going.
That's the first thing that coaches talk about, opposing coaches talk about, They say that word, motor, and you got a guy with a high motor. Usually don't combine it with all this great athletic ability, but he's got the whole package.
3rd and goal for Indy. Crowd is alive. Luck throws back of the end zone. Reggie Wayne. Oh, what a grab! Touchdown, Indianapolis. Flag thrown on the far side of the field.
J.J. Watt saying it's against the Colts, so this will negate a touchdown. 2 flags were down.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside. Defense. Number 94. Holding. Offense. The 65. Those penalties offset by rule. Replay 3rd down.
Well, they said that Antonio Smith was offsides. He must be in the neutral zone here. Joe Wright's working on him, and they're going to get Wrights for holding, it appeared. What about that catch by Reggie Wayne? Both feet were in, control of the ball, but no touchdown.
They take the points off the board. Play clock is winding down on a 3rd and goal for the Colts. From the gun, Luck throws too high. Donnie Avery matched up with Jonathan Joseph. Indianapolis will settle for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, you can see the pressure now getting to Luck a little bit. He knows that it's coming fast and furious. He got rid of that ball maybe a little bit too soon.
Danny is 3 of 10. Bruce Arians having an animated conversation with Luck and just indicated, hey, call a timeout. You don't like what you see.
Play clock was running down too. I think Arians was trying to tell his young quarterback.
Adam Vinatieri, who will turn 40 years old later this month. 26-yard field goal is good. Indianapolis is on the board. Andrew Luck knows the Colts just gave away an opportunity. Now that's a handsome suit, Dan. 2 of them.
Yeah, I kind of like the suit that big guy's wearing too.
Yeah, well, that's traditional.
And his beard.
10-3, well, you would like the beard. You admire impressive beards. Houston in front with 6:12 to go in this first half. After the field goal from Vinatieri, now over 100 points for the 15th time in his career. Jason Elam holds the record with 16. McAfee kicks it off and a touchback. Tomorrow on CBS, kick off your holiday with some Hawaiian sun. George Takei of Star Trek fame guest stars on a new Hawaii 5-0. Tomorrow only, CBS. So Houston has it at the 20. Taking a look at the linebacker, Darryl Sharpton. Sharpton, who has dealt with a bunch of injuries, quad tendon tear last year, hip injury this year. Johnson couldn't secure it. Wasn't called a clean catch. Antoine Bethea getting physical, incomplete.
It looked like Andre Johnson trying to run with this ball before he secured the catch. Little hitch route, Bethea coming. Yeah, never had possession of that ball. Good job by Bethea to come quickly and make sure. We've already seen Johnson make a catch off a bobble in the first quarter.
4 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown for Johnson. 2nd and 10 now for Houston. Arian Foster. Foster has not had that one big signature run yet. 3.5-yard gain. Freeman with the stop.
How about the second play of the game? Andre Johnson gets deep and Schaub hits him for 52 yards. And we'll see that double catch right there. Great concentration. Big first down there, and then the touchdown from 3 yards out. It's typical afternoon for Andre Johnson.
So Houston has 132 yards of offense. Compare that to Indianapolis with 69. Texans do have a 10-3 lead, but Houston has not put the pedal to the metal here after the great start. Schaub underneath, ball rolled off of Walter, incomplete. And a flag is down where Schaub got hit.
Yeah, Schaub is real slow getting off the field.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 58. Hit in the head and neck area. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
And it's Moses Foku. 7th round pick of the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2009. Another player that Ryan Grigson went out and acquired via trade, and Grigson used to work for Philly.
Yeah, he got him right under the chin. Foku was totally unblocked as he came on a delayed blitz. He got his money's worth with that shot, but the big thing is that came on a 3rd down after an incomplete pass. Keeps the drive alive for Houston.
They had them stopped.
Yep.
Would have been another Donnie Jones punt. Instead, first down. Shaw, play action. Deep ball is caught. The connection made with Posey, and a penalty marker is down. LaFedge and Buffet back there for Indianapolis.
Yeah, they're going to get another one of those defenseless receiver hits, targeting the head of the receiver, Posey. That's just Posey's 2nd catch of the season. Beautiful throw by Schaub right down the middle.
Personal foul. Hit on the defensive receiver. Defense. At number 32. At half the distance will be added to the end of the play. First down.
Well, Cassius Vaughn is the guilty one here. This is a beautiful throw by Schaub as he gets the ball to Posey in traffic. Real questionable call there as LaFedge comes in with a shoulder. It's not Vaughn at all, and that was not a hit on a defenseless player, nor was it a hit to the head.
No.
Terrible call.
First down inside the 15. Schaub, play fake, has time, floats one, incomplete. Owen Daniels in the vicinity for Houston. And good coverage there by Sergio Brown for Indianapolis.
It's almost as if the officials see a receiver go down now after a ball is either caught or overthrown. And if the receiver goes down, they're automatically reaching for the flag and saying the receiver is defenseless. In that case, neither was he defenseless, nor was the hit illegal. It was a shoulder shot to the shoulder of Posey.
And he caught the ball.
Yeah.
2nd and 10 for the Texans. Tate in the backfield. Daniels goes in motion. It's a pitch for Tate. Looking to go wide here, and he's not going to get there. Loses his helmet in the process. Slowed down by Ricardo Matthews, who set the edge. And Tate loses 4 yards on the play. And just checking the chiclets. Make sure he's got all those teeth.
You talk about Matthews. Check out number 91 and the speed he has as he gets into the backfield and chases Tate down. Beats the block of Wade Smith there. That should be a penalty, ripping the helmet off. You cannot put your hand inside the helmet like that, but that one Matthews gets away with.
3rd and 14 now for Houston. Shaw out of the pocket, throws it high for Owen Daniels. So some frustrations here for the offense. Arian Foster has not been a big factor thus far.
Not much rhythm to this offense. It's like they're just picking plays out of a hat and hoping they work. Foster 11 carries, 34 yards.
35-yard field goal attempt for Shane Graham to extend the lead to 10. Graham nails it. It's 13-3. Houston in front. We've got 3:50 to play. First half at Reliant. Coming up, Verizon halftime report. JB and the rest of the gang. Latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Houston with a 13-3 lead over Indianapolis. J.J. Watt has been a factor here defensively for the Texans and making life very difficult on Andrew Luck. 3 of 10, 41 yards for the Houston native. Of course, Andrew's dad, Oliver, played for the Houston Oilers. 2nd round pick back in 1982. Spent 4 years with the Oilers. Shane Graham kicks it off. Daisy Kareem is deep. And Kareem's going to take a knee. We'll have it at the 20-yard line. How about the red zone efforts?
Yeah, 13-3 lead for the Texans because the Colts have had trouble. That's the fumble by Moore, recovered by Dobbins. And then this great catch by Reggie Wayne is going to be negated by offsetting penalties. Left guard Joe Wrights with the hold on Antonio Smith. Smith lining up in the neutral zone. No touchdown for the Colts. Lone opportunities.
So let's see how Indianapolis handles the final 3:50 of this first half. Luck, quick hitter. Reggie Wayne, and not much there. Picks up 3 yards in the process. Kareem Jackson with the tackle. Well, let's take you back. Stratford High School in Houston. Andrew Luck dishing out a little punishment there. Threw for 7,139 yards, 53 touchdowns in 3 years. Also served as the valedictorian Stratford class of 2008.
About 25 minutes from here, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we asked him for the specific number and he filled us in. I could have gone to Google Maps, but I wanted to know from Andrew. Able to hit Allen on the outside. That's 12 yards, and there is Oliver Luck. You know, it's funny because we asked Andrew, do you feel any connection, any emotion? He's like, well, I was really a Houston Oilers fan, so he really was never a Houston Texans fan. And then he became a Frankfurt Galaxy fan in NFL Europe because his dad was running that franchise.
Yeah, and I know that the team you followed in NFL Europe was not the Galaxy.
No, Rhine Fire. Big Rhine Fire. Posters. I have a tattoo. 2:50 to go in this second quarter. Luck forced to eat it. Guess who?
Yeah, guess who?
J.J. Watt, 18 and a half sacks on the season.
It's almost as if on every series of plays, you can count on him making a big play. Whether it's a solo tackle or a sack or a batted ball, if he's not the defensive player of the year in the NFL, that's a crime, as he does it all.
J.J. Watt said that he's been impressed by Luck. He's smart, but he'll also make some mistakes. He's tough to bring down. He feels like he's faster than you would think. Ballard is buried. And now with 2:10 to play. Got to think about the timeout game here. 3rd and 16. They're going to hit the 2-minute warning and just allow that to be the stoppage. We'll come back with Houston in front, 13-3 over Indianapolis. So far today, Texans have put up 164 yards of offense. Indianapolis has been limited to 78. Texans have the full complement of timeouts remaining, 2 minutes to play in the second quarter. And a 3rd and 16 for the Colts. Shotgun for Luck. Luck steps. He fires. Almost intercepted. Quentin Demps. Reggie Wayne, the intended target.
Yeah, Demps had this one. He knew that Luck was looking, really eyeballed Wayne all the way down the field. Watch Demps come to a deep safety spot, come in there. And he had a real shot at this, and if he makes the catch clean, he's got yardage in front of him.
Luck is now 5 of 13, 56 yards. Another punt for McAfee, his 3rd. Comes an average of just under 39 yards per kick. And it's blocked! Scooped up! Brian Grayman! And he's in for the touchdown. Coming apart at the seams for Indianapolis.
Tremendous play by Brayman as he got inside of the rookie Dwayne Allen and located the punter. I mean, it was a good snap. McAfee didn't take an extraordinary amount of time to get it off. It's just that Brayman had a free run. That's the first block this year against McAfee. Just the second in his career. That's huge.
Brian Brayman, the second-year linebacker from West Texas A&M. First career touchdown.
Yeah, they're going to review this because it is a scoring play. But here's Brayman right here. Right here is Allen. Just a little swim move right there. Gets it with both hands, then he's got to find it. And he rolls into the end zone. He bounced it about the 1 yard line, but I don't think he was touched until he got into the end zone. He clearly blocked that ball, and he's in before he's touched by Allen.
So he basically did it all. The block, he locates the ball, the recovery, and the touchdown.
Don't forget the slide, too.
Oh, the slide. Put the slide in there, too.
That slide was maybe the most important part of it because McAfee doesn't make the touch there. Allen's too late. Good job by Lestart Jean keeping the punter, McAfee, away from Bremen.
1:46 to play in this second quarter. Houston currently with a 19-3 lead over Indianapolis. They just showed the same angles that Jeff Triplett was looking at on the big screen here, and you heard the reaction from this crowd. Bremen, his second block punt of the season. That's a new franchise record.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown.
Block punt for Brian Bremen. The recovery and the return for the touchdown. All in one. Shane Graham, the extra point. It is 20-3. Texans in front with 1:46 to play in the first half. Houston special teams making it happen and adding to the Texans lead. Verizon halftime report. JB and the rest of our crew. The latest NFL scores and highlights. All coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Houston 20, Indianapolis 3 with 1:46 remaining in the second quarter. The latest mishap for Indianapolis happening on special teams with a block punt and a touchdown. Welde Moore fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line. Scoring opportunity earlier for Indy. Kareem, the return man. And Kareem driven down as he crossed the 25. Wednesday in primetime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms showcase America's favorite game with their own unique style. It's Inside the NFL, Wednesday on Showtime.
Yeah, there's a lot of time for Andrew Luck and the Colts offense. 139, 3 timeouts to work with, and good field position after that kickoff return by Kareem.
21st all-time meeting between these two teams. Colts have dominated, but that was during the Peyton Manning era. 17-3 against the Texans. There's Luck on first down. Throws it underneath. Catch is made by Avery. And Donnie Avery has got an Indy first down just short of the 40-yard line. 12-yard pickup on the catch and run.
Yeah, really good effort by Avery because he needed about 6 yards after the catch, and he got it with ease with a couple of good moves.
Colts do have 3 timeouts here, just over a minute to play. Luck steps up. Luck fires downfield. Wide open. T.Y. Hilton will take it the distance. Touchdown, Indianapolis. 61 yards on the hookup.
Well, he had a 60-yarder against Detroit a couple weeks back, but how does he get so wide open? Luck bought time by stepping up into the pocket, and Hilton, with all that speed, was a good 10 yards behind the secondary of Houston's.
And that is the longest pass play in the career of Andrew Luck in his rookie season with Indianapolis. Previous one, as you mentioned, the 60-yarder to Hilton. That one goes officially for 61. Quick strike by the Colts. And now trail Houston 20-10. Texans have 1:07 to work with here at the end of the second quarter.
Boy, as big as that punt block for the touchdown was, this play right here is he's just going to run right by the safeties. And watch Luck as he'll step up in the pocket as he does so well, and that buys him the extra amount of time. And how about that throw? Basically on the run, just a flick of the wrist. He sees this guy right now, and he just can't wait to get the ball down. That's
just a huge play.
That's worth some Hilton honors, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe it'll help your account on a personal level. They had to have it. Indianapolis in the hole, 20-3. Coming off the block punt for a touchdown. A number of mistakes in the first half, and maybe a momentum builder for Indy here on the career-long touchdown from Andrew Luck, covering 61 yards. McAfee kicks it off. Out of the back of the end zone. Houston will have it at the 20-yard line. Tomorrow, spend the holidays with two broke girls. Which one is naughty? Which one is nice? Find out on a new Two Broke Girls. That's tomorrow only. CBS.
Yeah, before that breakdown on the Texans defense, they've been playing very well in this first half. It's been the special teams, obviously, and then the bad punt from Donnie Jones, and the offense just kind of still out of sync. But the defense let him down that time.
Houston does have all 3 timeouts remaining. Shotgun formation for Shaw. Pats the ball, throws it. Low throw. It's handled by Walter, but he's thrown down. Forward progress will get him to the 27-yard line. A 7-yard pickup covered by Vontae Davis. Trying to work quickly here. Down to 50 seconds left. Shaw finds Andre Johnson for 5 and a first down. Timeout used. 44 seconds remaining on the clock. Houston with 2 timeouts left. Well, the Texans come in at 11-2. They can still get the #1 seed if they win their remaining 3 games, including here today. With a victory specifically today, they'll win the division. And they'll clinch a first-round bye with that win and a New England loss, or a tie and a Denver loss. A number of different combinations come into play, but the most simple viewpoint is win the game, win the division, and then allow this NFL week to take its form and see where you stand. In stride. Schaub hits Kevin Walter for 5. Darius Butler back there. Joe LaFedge, a knee injury for Indianapolis, and he has returned to the lineup.
Yeah, a couple of short passes aren't going to get it done for the Texans. 3 completions, and they've only moved about 20 yards.
Texans use 1 more timeout, so they still have 1 remaining. What's at stake here for Indianapolis? Clinching scenario is they get in the playoffs with a win. And then there are other possibilities. An Indy tie, a Pittsburgh loss, a tie, a Baltimore win. Bottom line, this is a team that was 0-13 a year ago. They put together a young group. Shane Graham, this is the area where they need to get for Graham to be comfortable. It's 2nd and 5 now for Houston. Schaub finds a soft spot. Andre Johnson working his way into Indy territory, brought down at the 42. We're down to 25 seconds left. Time ticking away here. Schaub will spike it with 20 seconds to play in this first half.
And Johnson with another catch. He's been quiet for a while. It's a deep crossing route on Vontae Davis. Davis kind of turns his hip, playing a zone type of coverage. And now the Texans, they need about another 10 yards or so to get Graham within that target range. His career long is just 53. Longest this year, 51. You would think it would be longer, kicking half your games in a dome here.
Flag is thrown on the far side of the field.
The snap, 5-yard penalty.
Okay,
be first down.
12 men on the field.
12 men on the field defense. That penalty is declined.
So both penalties against the Colts.
So the offside, the 12 men on the field. So move it up inside the 40 now for Houston. Andre Johnson, 6 catches, 101 yards and a touchdown. They'll get Johnson involved again. And they run it to the middle of the field, which is going to use up more clock. They're down to 10 seconds left. Johnson brought down just short of the 31.
And Schaub's going to let the clock run down, call timeout, bring out Shane Graham. You know, on that penalty, both those penalties, it was against the same guy trying to get off the field. Get off the field on the Texans side of the ball, and he did not get off the field.
2 for the price of 1.
Only one penalty was taken.
Shane Graham is on. He's made a 29-yarder, a 35-yarder. He's staring at a 49-yarder right now at the end of this second quarter. He's been very consistent throughout his career, now in his 11th year in the NFL, but as you mentioned, not known for the big leg. Career long of 53, which he kicked back in 2009, and has a 51-yarder this season. This is from 49 yards away. Can tack on 3 points before the break. 49-yard attempt for Shane Graham. Leans into it and misses it badly. End of the first half here at Reliant Stadium. Houston with a 20-10 lead over Indianapolis. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. After this message and a word from your local station, this is the NFL on CBS. You're listening to a Pepsi anthem by Travie McCoy. Download this and other NFL-inspired anthems at PepsiAnthems.com. Getting ready for second half action here at Reliant Stadium. 20-10, Houston leading Indianapolis. Welcome back, everybody. A couple of questions heading into this one. Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. How would Houston respond after the blowout loss to New England last week? And how would Indianapolis respond in the step up in weight class? A couple of answers that you saw in the first half.
Well, I think defensively, Houston is doing a great job, except for that one long touchdown pass. But offensively, they just don't seem the same team. They're just tough time finding their rhythm.
Yep.
For Indianapolis, I think it was curious. We talked to Bruce Arians about his team, and he said that, well, we want to hang in there with them until halftime and then make them nervous. And the way that the Texans are playing, they should feel nervous right now because they're not playing that well offensively. And Andrew Luck and the Colts, they have such this firm belief that they can come back from anything. And this 10-point deficit isn't that much for the Colts.
6 fourth-quarter comebacks for Andrew Luck and the Colts this season. They kind of built their season on that at 9-4. 27-23 win over Tennessee, and yes, they did trail in the fourth quarter against the Titans. Houston kicks it off, and we're underway. Second half. Kareem, the return man, is going to take it out 1 yard deep in the end zone. Kareem trying to take it to the outside, and he's got some room. Kareem to the 30. Angles out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. Good return by the former Jaguar, Deji Kareem. Well, defensively in that first half, J.J. Watt, major difference maker for Houston.
Yeah, almost every single series he's made a play. That was a 15-yard sack. He stops Ballard with one hand there and gets in the backfield. 18 and a half sacks now for J.J. Watt. He has been a difference maker for this defense in that first half.
Dwayne Allen in the backfield with Vic Ballard. The fumble by the veteran Llewellyn Moore came at the 1 yard line in the second quarter for Indianapolis. Trailing by 10. Swing pass is knocked away by Connor Barwin. It looked like it was perfectly set up for Ballard, and Barwin gets in there to make the play.
Yeah, first batted ball today, and this one real close to being batted in the air and then taken all the way to the end zone by Connor Barwin. He fights off Lincoln back, gets his left hand on that ball, and the good thing he did because there was room for Ballard to run.
They lead the NFL most batted balls this season. Luck has had more balls batted than any other QB in the NFL. 2nd and 10 for Indianapolis. On the quick strike for Reggie Wayne in a modest gain, 4 yards.
Back to what Indianapolis has been able to do in the first half. Not much on their first 3 possessions. That fumble, absolute killer, right on the goal line by Llewellyn Moore after he was hit by J.J. Watt. But they bounced back after that punt that was blocked.
Dime package here for Houston. A 4-receiver set for Indianapolis. First possession of the second half. Luck has time. Throws it. Incomplete. T.Y. Hilton, the intended receiver.
Really a tough catch for T.Y. Hilton. He had first down yardage if he could just come up with this one, but thrown just a little bit behind him. Huge third down conversion try that the Colts don't get. They're now 0 for 5 on third downs.
Pat McAfee will punt it. Keyshawn Martin standing at the 10. McAfee trying to put this one in the corner and veers it over towards the sideline. Let's see where it will end up. Just short of the 14-yard line. 44-yard punt. Schaub and the Houston offense back on the field. Ball spotted at the Houston 13-yard line. Texans with a 20-10 advantage over Indianapolis. Early stages of the third quarter. Houston trying to move to 12-2. Already set a franchise record for most wins in a season. Still focused on that #1 seed. Handoff. Arian Foster. He's got a running lane. Foster with a stiff arm. Foster stays on his feet and forced out of bounds across the 40-yard line. It was Buffet who got the hand of Foster, and Foster turns it into a 31-yard rip.
Yeah, just a huge hole on the right side. Ben Jones, Derek Newton back in the lineup. Watch these guys work here as Foster is just going to hit. Chris Myers does another fine job. Myers, one of the most mobile centers in the NFL, gets out on the linebackers, and Foster provides a little extra at the end of that with the stiff arm.
Line of scrimmage is now the 44. 12 carries, 65 yards for Foster. Schaub, a timing pattern. Up in the air, Andre Johnson's got it. First down to Houston into Indianapolis territory. Vontae Davis trying to stick with him.
This is the way they started the ball game, on fire. Watch this grab by Andre Johnson. Davis right there, but the hard work that Schaub and Johnson put in together at practice really paying off. Back shoulder, high fade, and Johnson makes a beautiful catch.
8 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown for Johnson. New set of downs for Houston. Arian Foster, the patience of Foster. Wade Smith with a key block on that left side. 9.5 yard gain. We'll see on the spot. You know, they do this all over the league. Do some great things for the community, and you'll see these during stoppages. What those kids didn't know, that was the big present. Their dad, Army Chief Warrant Officer Eric Spurley, returning from Afghanistan. A surprise gift for the Spurley family.
Yeah, what a Merry Christmas present that is, huh? Fantastic.
First down for the Texans. They give Foster the spot for the 10-yard gain. Now it's Ben Tate. Tate with a zigzag move. And Houston much more aggressive in the running game to start this second half. That's a 9-yard pickup for Tate. Remember, Ben Tate missed 4 games with a hamstring injury, so they still believe that he can get back to that fresh state that he was in early in the season.
And what a great 1-2 punch that he and Arian Foster can be. And don't forget about Justin Forsett, who got a lot of playing time when Tate was out with those injuries. Texans have a lot of options.
Forsett had the controversial touchdown on Thanksgiving against Detroit. 2nd and 1 now for Houston on the move. Tate again. He's got a first down. Out across the 20-yard line for a 4-yard pickup. Again, Tate loses his helmet. Now Arian Foster will come in and replace Tate.
You can see the focus that the Texans have now as they start the second half, primarily doing the job on the ground with Foster, now Tate, now Foster back in.
Matt Schaub is 15 of 21, 195 yards and a touchdown. Foster 75 yards on the ground. There is Foster turning the corner. Arian Foster, another strong run for him as Freeman rides him down. It's a 5-yard pickup.
You see Foster kind of going old school with those high white socks and the spatted white shoes. Kind of reminds me of the great Hall of Fame running back for the Baltimore Colts, Lenny Moore. Same smooth style. You remember Lenny Moore?
Yeah, sure.
Outstanding.
Did you actually wear your shoes that way as well, Dan?
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
They wouldn't let me.
We have some video, I think. No, we don't. 2nd and 4. Arian Foster. Physical run by Foster. 6-yard pickup. Let's head to New York. JB, Coach Cowher. NFL Today update.
Coach, Denver is serious.
Yeah, they're all over Baltimore. No Sean Marino. 6-yard touchdown run, over 100 yards already on the day. 31-3 in the third.
Hey, Dan Fouts, do you think Ian Eagle really remembered Lenny Moore?
Look, I study the history of the game. I'm a young man, but certainly remember Lenny Moore. I remember Dan wearing his shoes that way too, whether he admits to it or not. 1st and goal now for Houston inside the 10. On a give for Foster. Initial contact, and Foster ducks down. Antonio Johnson and Freeney combine it. Oh, there he is.
I told you it was old school.
Number 14.
I'm just glad this picture's in color and not just in black and white. Because most of these pictures of mine are in black and white.
I think somebody was eating and dropped something on that photo. There was like a splotch right by your left leg.
A little saliva, maybe.
Maybe. Just saying. Yeah, we had to dig deep in the archives. 2nd and goal now for Houston. Long drive for the Texans. Fake the handoff. Schaub, look out! He is devoured. Freeney, the first man there. Corey Redding, the second.
Yeah, this is a scary sight. Dwight Freeney, 105.5 sacks. Now watch him come, and he's not paying any attention to the play-action fake. He's going after Schaub all the way, and he gets home with the help of Corey Redding.
That is now 16.5 career sacks against Houston, the most he's had against any opponent. 3rd and goal now for the Texans. Back it up to the 15-yard line. 10th play of the drive, they give it to Foster. Foster weaving his way through traffic. But he is dropped at the 8. So 4th down for the Texans, and we will see Shane Graham back on the field for a field goal attempt.
Boy, after giving up a lot of yards on the ground, the Colts defense really got tough there with a couple of big stops, the sack by Freeney, and now keeping Foster short of the first down. Fans don't like it. They want to see Kubiak go for it. Similar situation in the first half. First drive, he elected to go for a field goal, and Graham paid it off.
What the Colts have done is allow a 100-yard receiver in 7 straight games. Graham, the field goal from 27 yards away. Andre Johnson, 8 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Houston settles for 3, a 23-10 lead. Told you about the big day Andre Johnson has put together. Well, there are a number of receivers that have put together big days against this Indianapolis defense. 7 straight games. Hartline, Shorts, Gronkowski, Stevie Johnson, Calvin Johnson, Kenny Britt last week. Graham kicks it off. Deji Kareem is waiting for it. And Kareem will take a knee. 20-yard line for Indy. Will step aside with 7:33 to play. Houston in control. They've got a 23-10 lead on the Colts. Now it looks like this has been a tour around the NFL for these folks. Seeing every NFL stadium, priceless. Indianapolis, in Houston today, Reliant Stadium. And a 23-10 lead for the Texans. Handoff to Vic Ballard. Ballard, long strides. Ballard taking it to the second level. Out across the 35-yard line. Good block by Joe Wrights up front to help spring Ballard for 15.
Here's Wrights right here. He gets the block there on Dobbins, and that sets Ballard to that second level. Surprising speed for Ballard and a great way to start the second half for Indianapolis.
10 carries, 58 yards for the rookie Vic Ballard. Just under 7 minutes to go now in the third. Avery, the motion man. Luck out of the pocket. Luck will slide just across the 40-yard line. Well, the signature for Indianapolis has been the comeback wins. Week 5 against Green Bay, Reggie Wayne, the touchdown from Luck. Colts win at 35 seconds left. Week 8 at Tennessee, in OT, Luck to Ballard. Great move by Ballard to get in. Week 13 at Detroit, Luck to Donnie Avery. No time left on the clock. They win it, come from behind fashion. And then last week, Cassius Vaughn, the interception of Jake Locker, returned it for the touchdown. That gave them the lead. Tennessee actually regained the lead, and Indy had to come back again. 2nd and 3, Ballard. Good cut upfield by Ballard and into Houston territory.
Yeah, it looked like Daniel Manning had Ballard at the line of scrimmage, but that strong cut you talked about, Ian, got more power than you think, as he broke the tackle of Manning, got across midfield. 9 yards on a carry that should have been stopped for 1 or 2.
Ballard said that Mewelde Moore was actually a big help to him during training camp when he was trying to learn the offense. Moore was already familiar with it back in his Pittsburgh days with Bruce Arians. That time he couldn't get going because of Watt.
Yeah, no kidding. Watt has had enough of that. Vic Ballard. His quickness is so amazing. He's taking a look at his handiwork. Yeah, that was a good one. He's going to slice in this way and bring down Ballard. That's the motor part of it, the dive at the end to get the legs and bring the running back down.
You asked Watt if he's ever been to Hawaii. He said, yeah, sophomore year in Wisconsin. I don't really want to go this year, though. I'd like to be busy with the rest of the team. Ballard the spin. Vic Ballard. Just short of the 35-yard line. He made Connor Barwin miss and turns it into a 12-yard gain.
Yeah, Barwin was right in the middle. He looped right to where Ballard was running the ball. Can't make the tackle because of that outstanding spin move by Ballard. Rickenbach did a good job working against Sharpton.
So, new set of downs for Indianapolis to work with. Every play on this drive has been on the ground. Take the handoff. Hilton spins around trying to stay on his feet, but they will rule him down at the 36-yard line. No gain on the play.
You know, he went down as if his face mask was grabbed. I mean, he's got such great quickness. Watch after the catch. Does Manning come in here with the left hand? Yeah, he grabbed him right around the face mask. If not the face mask, then the inside part of the helmet. The officials, right out in plain day, don't call it.
3 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown for Hilton. 2nd and 10 now for the Colts. Shotgun Luck. Luck on the move, looking downfield. Flag is thrown. Luck with a flip to Dwayne Allen. But a penalty marker at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, this is going to go against the Texans. Illegal contact or holding.
That's a 4-man huddle for the officiating crew.
While the quarterback's still in a pocket, illegal contact. Number 52 of the defense. The 5-yard penalty and automatic first down.
And it's the veteran Tim Dobbins, former 5th-round pick back in 2006 of San Diego. Played for Wade Phillips with the Chargers and became a part of this defense when Phillips took over last year as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, the key component of that penalty, automatic first down.
5th defensive penalty for Houston. We're down to 3:20 to play in the 3rd. 13-point lead for the Texans. Right up the middle. Vic Ballard turns the corner. And Ballard is caught from behind by Joseph. Vic Ballard is putting on a show on this drive. That's a 23-yard gain for the rookie.
Well, he had his season best last week against Tennessee with 94 yards. But what the Colts are able to do is they're able to get their offensive linemen to that second level against the linebackers. And Ballard is just exploding now. 103 yards on 14 carries.
First and goal for Indy. Luck to throw. Touchdown, Dwayne Allen. Indianapolis right back in it.
Yeah, because the Colts have been running the ball so well, the Texans were crowding the line of scrimmage, man-to-man in the secondary, and Allen with his big body, 6'3", 255, got off the line of scrimmage clean and was able to get the ball from his quarterback before Glover Quinn could come over and make a difference.
20th touchdown pass of the season for rookie Andrew Luck. Connects with another rookie, Dwayne Allen, out of Clemson. So much youth. And this team has come together very quickly. Andrew Luck. Second half comebacks. That's been the specialty for Indy this season. Week 15, the NFL on CBS here at Reliant Stadium. The Houston Texans have the lead over Indianapolis, but the Colts again in comeback mode. 23-17, the Texans in front. McAfee kicks it off to Keyshawn Martin for Houston. Martin eludes one tackler, but then gets buried. Mario Harvey makes the play on special teams for Indy. Touchdown. Andrew Luck to Dwayne Allen. Luck, 20th touchdown of his rookie season to get the Colts right back in it. AFC South matchup. Here's what's on the line. Indianapolis with a win will clinch a playoff berth. A victory for Houston, and they win the division for the second straight year. Schaub throws it over the middle to Owen Daniels. And Daniels has got a first down across the 30-yard line. It took 4-5 defensive players to finally bring him down, and he lost his helmet in the process. Houston, with a victory, would move to 12-2 and clinch the AFC South crown, still with the #1 seed in play. If Houston wins out, they will have home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. These two teams will play again Week 17 at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Colts interaction at 9-4, one of the great turnarounds in NFL history. Schaub thrown to the outside, and Posey gets his second catch of the day. He came in with just one grab in his rookie season out of Ohio State.
That's 8 straight completions now for Schaub. The Texans on their last drive majored in the running plays with Tate and Foster. This series they come out throwing, and Schaub continues to with the hot hand.
So Matt Schaub trying to put last week's disappointment out of his mind and the rest of the Texans. 42-14 blowout loss in New England on a big stage. Arian Foster. Indianapolis was completely ready. Corey Redding read it perfectly, a loss of 7. Here's the game summary. Hot start for Houston. The touchdown shot to Johnson made it 10-0. Then Llewellyn Moore, a fumble at the 1, gives Houston the ball back. Bremen, the block punt, recovery and the touchdown to extend the lead, but this was big. Luck to Hilton at the end of the first half connects for the long touchdown, and in the third quarter, it's Luck to Allen. So that's rookies all over the place. Luck, Allen, Hilton, all playing a role here today for Indianapolis. 3rd and 15 now for the Texans. We're down to 22 seconds to play in the third. Schaub fires, tight window. Andre Johnson. It's a clean catch for Johnson and a first down for 16 yards.
Yeah, spectacular catch by Johnson. Pretty good throw low for Schaub. Clearly a catch, control as he goes to the ground.
Johnson has just passed 11,000 yards in his career. End of the third, 23-17. Houston in front. Spectacular career for Andre Johnson, the third fastest player to get to 11,000 career yards. Jerry Rice, Torrey Holt, the only two to do it quicker than Johnson has in his career. First down for Houston. Play fake. Schaub has to take the sack. Antoine Bethea came firing through for Indianapolis. It's a loss of 7 on the play.
Yeah, another sack for Bethea. second on the season. Bethea following. These are his shoes right here. Watch him coming. And Greg Minuski done a great job with the situational blitzing by Bethea. Last week, very effective against Tennessee, and that was a huge play on first down.
Third Colts sack of the afternoon. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. Schaub throwing, and he's got Johnson across the 40-yard line. Great snatch. 6-yard gain.
We can't cover him any closer than Vontae Davis is covering him. But Schaub knows exactly where to put the ball. Johnson with long arms. He's 6'3", strong hands, and he just grabbed that ball before Davis could even see the ball.
Yeah, for so many years, Andre Johnson was the best player on either a mediocre or bad team. Now, to play at this level on a quality team, a team going to the playoffs, it's been really nice for Johnson to enjoy that side of the NFL. 3rd and 11. Schaub off his back foot. His receiver fell down. Owen Daniels. It's incomplete. Houston will punt with a 6-point lead. 13:44 to play in the fourth.
And it's just the type of stop the Colts needed as they have the momentum right now. It looked like Owen Daniels ran into his own man on this route. Yeah, he came in the crossing route. Andre Johnson coming from one side, Daniels from the other, and Schaub under pressure had to get rid of it. Couldn't wait for either of them.
Schaub had completed 10 straight passes until that one. Martin off the punt by Donnie Jones. It's T.Y. Hilton and a flag down. So the penalty flag, 46-yard punt, 17-yard return, 2 flags thrown at the 16-yard line.
I'll give you 10 guesses as to what this is and who's it against.
During the return, illegal blocking the back. Number 37 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, timeout.
It's Mewelde Moore called on the penalty, so back it up for Indy. Colts trailing Houston 23-17. We're in the fourth. Second half of the NFL on CBS doubleheader is coming up. Pittsburgh at Dallas, Kansas City at Oakland. Week 15 in the NFL. 1st and 10 at the 8-yard line of Indianapolis. Vic Ballard driven down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Antonio Smith in to make that stop. Tonight on Survivor, 4 castaways remain. After 2 tribal councils and 2 incredible hours, only 1 will be sole survivor. Don't miss the season finale and live reunion show. That's tonight only CBS. 103 yards for Ballard. First 100-yard rusher for Indy since December of last year. It's been a full year for the Colts. Ballard again, nowhere to go. J.J. Watt along with Whitney Merciless. Time for an NFL Today update. JB, Coach Cowher in New York.
Big hole for the Ravens to climb out of.
Here's Joe Flacco's first touchdown pass of the new coordinator, Caldwell. Dennis Pitta, 31 yards, 31-10.
And we'll keep you updated as we take you back to Ian and Dan.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Cam Cameron, they made the big move at offensive coordinator. Former Colts head coach Jim Caldwell taking over, calling the plays now for Baltimore. But Denver continues its hot streak. 3rd and 15. Luck, under pressure, gets rid of it, and it's broken up. Looking for Hilton. A flag is thrown at the 22. Kareem Jackson in coverage.
They're going to call offensive pass interference against Hilton. And a 3 and out for the Colts.
Pass interference, offense, number 15. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Yeah, this is nervous territory for Luck standing in his own end zone, especially the way the Texans have been rushing him today. The blitz on the outside, he gets hit as he throws. It was just a horrible series after the penalty against Moore on the punt return.
Pinned deep in their own territory. They couldn't do anything with it. Pat McAfee big kick. Keyshawn Martin backpedals from the 34. Martin now to the 40 and across the 45, and Houston will have outstanding field position to open up this next drive. 63-yard punt and a 14-yard return in a 6-point game here in Houston. Penalty marker on the play, and the officials coming together out at the 37-yard line. Looking at unsportsmanlike conduct potentially.
Play. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Indianapolis on the head coach.
Well, you get the gist of it. Bruce Arians called on the penalty. We'll tell you where Houston is when we come back. 23-17, Houston in front. Bruce Arians, who has pushed all the right buttons in the absence of Chuck Pagano, finished his 3rd round of chemotherapy for leukemia. Possible return week 17. Arians called on unsportsmanlike conduct after the punt, and that's going to give Houston the football at the Indianapolis 39-yard line. By far the best field position of the day for the Houston Texans. 11:54 to play in the 4th quarter. And off to Arian Foster, trying to squeeze through that hole, and it closed quickly with Robert Mathis leading the charge for Indy. 1-yard gain.
Yeah, it's been a mixed bag of an afternoon for Arian Foster. 18 carries, 86 yards, but the Colts have done a good job as of late in setting that edge and not letting him bounce to the outside, and then when he looks back inside for the cutback, it's not there either.
These two teams, when they played in close games, they've won them. Houston 5-0 in games decided by 8 points or less. Indianapolis 8-1 in one-possession games. Schaub off play action. Throws underneath. Another catch by Posey. There's no way that Posey popped up in the scouting reports this week with just 1 catch on the season, heading into action today. 8-yard gain.
This is what you were talking about, Ian. These one-possession heroes, if you will. And right now we're in a one-possession game, but the field position game here in the 4th quarter has just been all in favor of the Texans, and they're looking to take advantage of it now.
We've got 10:39 to play in the 4th. 23-17 lead for the Texans. 3rd and 1 now for Houston. Foster gets the call, and he's got the first down. 3-yard gain for Arian Foster. 20 carries, 90 yards now for Foster.
Yeah, running off the left side between Dwayne Brown and Wade Smith. Foster didn't need much for the first down, so he showed smarts by going low and just giving his body up after he made it.
You know, Dwayne Brown may not get the same amount of credit as some other bigger name tackles. He's allowed 1 sack this season. He has not been called for holding since 2008. Just quietly goes about his business. Foster up the middle. Arian Foster goes all the way. Touchdown, Houston. Penalty marker is thrown.
And right at the point of attack, this one's coming back.
Holding number 74 the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
It is on that left side. It's Wade Smith.
Well, let's check out Wade, number 74 right here, and that's right where Foster is going to hit this one. Yeah, it's that left arm reaching out and keeping Martin Vaseo away from Foster. Foster with a walk into the end zone, but clearly holding on Wade Smith.
So back it up. 1st and 20 now for Houston. Swings it out for Owen Daniels, and he works his way towards the sideline, out of bounds. Something that Andrew Luck told us in our sit down with him yesterday. He knows how frustrating it was going to be sitting on the sideline watching the Houston offense, and that restless feeling, especially being down on the scoreboard.
Yeah, on the previous drive, they had everything going. Ballard was 5 carries for 60 yards. Luck was a perfect 2 for 2, plus a 7-yard rush. Then they get the bad penalty on the punt return and backs them up 3 and out, and the Texans are back in business.
Schaub, deep ball, incomplete. Not enough separation for Andre Johnson. Vontae Davis sticking with him.
And this is the type of situation now, a third down and long, that the Texans have struggled in as of late. That's an illegal contact there that's not called. That should have been a penalty on Vontae Davis. Well past the 5-yard area where you can make contact.
Well, Davis bit on the double move and had to grab onto something. Pivotal play here. 9:16 to play. Houston with a 6-point lead on Indianapolis. 3rd and 13. Job, jump pass. Arian Foster has nowhere to run. And he is bottled up at the 28-yard line by Robert Mathis.
Yeah, it's a conservative call, but they really just need a field goal to make it a 2-possession game. So you can give Kubiak a pass here. They'll bring out Shane Graham. Remember, Graham missed a long field goal going in this direction in the first half, at the end of the first half.
The official yardage was 50 yards on the miss. This will be a 46-yard attempt to bring the lead to 9. Donnie Jones will hold it. 46-yarder for Graham. He's got it. 26-17, Houston in front. 8.5 remaining at Reliant.
Watch this snap by John Weeks. It's a little bit off target. Great job by Donnie Jones making the catch, putting the ball on its point, and Graham puts it through. Sometimes, Zion, it's the little things that matter.
Now for Andrew Luck, he tried the body English. Didn't work. 26-17, Houston. Graham kicks it off. Deji Kareem. And this one will roll into the end zone for the touchback. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB. That's tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So it's a 9-point deficit for Indianapolis with 8.5 to play. They've grown accustomed to this. They've lived on the wild side throughout the season. Luck. Tripped up. J.J. Watt was not going to let Luck accelerate. Limits him to a 3-yard gain. So the comebacks for Indy this season. Week 2 came from behind against Minnesota, just 3 points down. How about week 5? Green Bay down 18. Tennessee down 7. Down 7 against Miami. Down 12 against Detroit. Down 13 against Tennessee. Down 17 today to Houston. That was the largest lead. 20-3 after the block punt and touchdown by Bremen. Vic Ballard continues to run with confidence. Forward progress is still going to leave him short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1 after the 6-yard gain. Dobbins collaborating with Harris to bring down Ballard.
You know what they're doing is they're got to be concerned with the ability of Watt to run things down and create havoc in the backfield. So they're just these quick hitters right up the middle away from Watt, and Ballard's been effective.
Now a 3rd and 1 for Indy. Inside handoff, and it is Allen. They do not have a natural fullback on the roster. Dwayne Allen gets the call. Second rush of the season for Allen, and the first time he's gained a yard in an NFL uniform.
Well, really a smart play, too, by Bruce Arians calling for Allen. I'm sure that you talked about Posey not being on anybody's radar. You sure don't expect a tight end to run out of the fullback position to pick up the first down.
First time they've converted a 3rd down. They're now 1 of 7 on 3rd down today. 6:45 to play in the 4th. Luck stepping up. Luck in trouble. Luck is dumped. J.J. Watt combining with Brady James.
Yeah, the play was made by Brady James as he beat the block of Vic Ballard. Watch Ballard here, and here is James coming on the blitz. We talked about Ballard's concern with pass protection. He didn't get the job that time as he ducked his head and just gave James a shoulder, and James went right by him.
Back it up after the loss of 4 on the play. 36th time this season Luck has been sacked, third most in the NFL. Luck throws, well-placed ball to Dwayne Allen. And the diving grab will get him enough for a first down, 15-yard pickup. Bruce Arians asking
Better
Luck to
hurry.
hurry
They're
it
down
up.
by 9. Under 6 minutes to go.
But not really moving with a sense of urgency here, just milling around with 5:45 to play in the fourth. It's 26-17. Houston. Vic Ballard trying to run off tackle, but he was cut off there, limited to a gain of 1. Connor Barwin, nicely played by the Texans.
This is the other remarkable aspect to Luck's game, his ability to function in these high-pressure situations.
Dan, how about Reggie Wayne? Just 2 catches for 7 yards here today. He's been their best target throughout the season. Luck trying to get rid of it. Antonio Smith is there. Texans are asking for an in the grasp and a intentional grounding. And now the flag comes out. The
Well, he
motion.
would have got the ball beyond the line of scrimmage if he wasn't being tackled. I don't understand this call sometimes.
Intentional grounding. Number 12 on the offense. Was out of the pocket but did not get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. Loss of down. It'll be third down. Ball will be placed in the spot of the foul.
And back up Drew Stanton trying to explain, I think, the perspective that you just laid out to Bruce Arians.
Well, Antonio Smith gets in on Luck and causes that ball to come up about 2 yards short of the down marker.
An 11-yard penalty.
Important here for Luck to realize they'll probably go for it on 4th down if they don't get it here on 3rd down. So don't try to force this one too far down the field.
From the gun, Luck steps up. Luck trying to make a play. Downfield, popped up in the air, incomplete. Tried to get it to his playmaker, Reggie Wayne. But again, Luck feeling the pressure of Watt and Merciless from Houston.
Yeah, they're both merciless, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, J.J. Watt, this throw is incredible. He's got Merciless hanging on his back. He put the ball right on the target of Reggie Wayne, and Wayne can't make the catch.
And Dan, they do decide to punt it on a 4th and 20. I agree with you. If they got 12 yards on that pickup, maybe you think about going for it.
Yeah, not with 4th and 20, though.
McAfee punting. Keyshawn Martin. Don't have to be a hero here. And Martin is brought down just short of the 25-yard line. A flag is thrown as Mario Harvey made the play downfield on special teams.
Looks like there's been a flag on every special teams play today.
During the kick, holding number 20 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So the penalty will work against Houston. What a performance from that young man. Coming up next, the NFL on CBS continues. The Steelers battle the Cowboys, or the Chiefs take on the Raiders. Second half of our doubleheader here on CBS. First down after the penalty. Throw it to the outside. Brought in by Andre Johnson.
Another awesome day for Andre Johnson. Second play of the game. He catches his 52-yarder under tight coverage by Vontae Davis. A 3-yard touchdown catch here. How about the back shoulder fade? He now has 11 catches on the afternoon for 152 yards. One more catch, and he'll have 800 for his career.
What did Cassius Vaughn say? We asked him about matching up with Andre Johnson, and he said he is the top wide receiver other than Calvin Johnson in the NFL.
A lot of defensive backs in the NFL just don't like that name, Johnson.
No, called him the ultimate wide receiver. He's got it all: speed, strength, ball skills. And I think the respect level that opposing cornerbacks have for Johnson really tells the story of.
Yeah, you know, he's a class player, Ian, in his play and his demeanor. And the fact that you talked about earlier, how now he's playing for a team that has a chance to go to the playoffs, go deep into the playoffs after laboring on a team that wasn't all that good for a lot of his career.
We're down to 3:19 to play. 26-17, Houston. And Foster on the outside. Foster out across the 45. They're trying to put this game on ice. Antoine Bethea with the tackle.
Yeah, when you're in this situation where you've got to crowd the line of scrimmage and force some type of fumble, some type of turnover, that's where you get burned by long runs. Good execution on the right side of that offensive line. Another big game, this time 26 yards for Foster, who has now gone over 100 yards, 119.
Well, Indy has all 3 timeouts remaining, but now the clock is the issue for the Colts. 2.5 to play in a 2-possession game. Foster again. And wearing down this Indy defense. 9-yard pickup for Foster. And a timeout taken with 2:18 left on the clock.
Talked about how Foster averaging 163 yards in the last 3 games against the Colts. And today, with that rush, 23 carries for 128 yards. And what a luxury to have a guy like this at the end of the game where you got to keep the ball on the ground, take time off the clock, and seal the victory.
.220 remaining in the 4th quarter. Indy now has 2 timeouts remaining. Well, Gary Kubiak, post-game speech, he addressed the blowout loss to New England. Wasn't going to wait. Tough stretch for the team, 3 road games in a row. He gave them an extra day to recover. They went back at it on Thursday, did really more on the mental side on Wednesday, with ball cap and shorts. 2nd and 1. Arian Foster. Foster bouncing it to the outside. And why not end this game with what you do best? And that's run the football with Arian Foster.
And at the very end of it, the intelligence to stay in bounds and run the clock all the way down to the 2-minute warning. And the Colts called a timeout 1 second shy of that, but again, crowding the line of scrimmage opens up the holes. And then Foster with a stiff arm twice on Bethea. And then down before Bethea can push him out of bounds.
And the numbers are going to look awfully nice for Foster when it's all said and done. 24 carries, 153 yards. They put a few more seconds on the clock. Now 2:05 left to play in the 4th. And Indianapolis is down to its final timeout. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, it's the NFL Today update presented by Farmers Insurance. JB and the rest of our crew, latest NFL scores and highlights. Bounce back mode for Houston after the humbling loss in New England, 42-14 on Monday night. They were overmatched by the Patriots. Whistle stopped this play, some pushing and shoving. Not a shock. It was going to be a running play to Arian Foster.
False start. Number 88 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
88, Garrett Graham, who missed last week's game with a concussion. 153 yards for Foster. That is a season high. Andre Johnson goes for 152 yards through the air. 11 catches and a touchdown for Johnson. And Matt Schaub's numbers, 23 of 31, 262 yards and 1 touchdown. No interceptions. Foster up the middle. Just across the 25, we hit the 2-minute warning here in Houston. Texans 26-17, looking to improve to 12-2. Indianapolis actually used its final timeout before the 2-minute warning. So they stop the clock with 2:02, which forces Houston to run another play before the 2-minute warning. And the clock will stop with 2 minutes to play after this snap by Houston. 2nd and 13. Foster was looking to bounce, but then thought better of it. And now officially we hit the 2-minute warning with under 2 minutes to play. Houston holding on to the 26-17 lead over AFC South rival Indianapolis. Coming up next, the NFL on CBS continues. The Steelers take on the Cowboys. The Chiefs battle the Raiders right here, Week 15. Second half of the doubleheader here on CBS. No timeouts remaining for Indianapolis. Houston facing a 3rd and 11 with 1:56 to play. And they've got a 26-17 lead. What's the choice here for Houston? There's no reason to make any unwise decision.
Keep the ball at 23. I think that's a good decision.
And it is Arian Foster. And Foster short of the first down. It'll be 4th down for the Texans. Jarrell Freeman ranges over to make the play.
Schaub wants Kubiak to go for it here. Does not want to send out the field goal team. Field goal really doesn't do you all that much good.
Would extend the lead to 12. The only thing it forces Indianapolis to score 2 touchdowns as opposed to.
Yeah, but by running the clock down, the Colts are going to call timeout, and the Texans will, and the Colts will have very little time to work with.
So they let it run down to 1:09, use the timeout, and they will send the field goal unit on. Yeah, obviously the other thought process is if you feel like you can get the 3 yards, you end the game. 26-17, Houston in front of Indianapolis with 1:09 left. Shane Graham coming on for 32, 33-yard field goal, depending upon where his punter and holder Donnie Jones sets up. Houston with 418 total yards. Schaub, good numbers. Arian Foster, outstanding numbers. Andre Johnson, monster numbers as well. 33-yard attempt for Graham. Graham knocks it through.
Barely.
29-17. Houston with 1:05 left. Graham's 5th field goal of the afternoon. So the playoff picture here in the AFC with Houston looking to move to 12-2. Indianapolis on the verge of dropping to 9-5. We'll keep Houston where they are, 11-2. We still have over a minute to play. New England, Denver, Baltimore, the division leaders. But Houston has played division leaders this season. Week 3 at Denver, Schaub 4 touchdowns. Texans win that game. Week 7 against Baltimore. Foster 2 touchdowns. They roll over the Ravens, and then last week they came down to earth with a thud against the Patriots, allowing 4 touchdown passes to Tom Brady, blown out 42-14. That Denver game is a little tough to throw into the mix because it was so early in the Peyton Manning era for the Broncos. They've improved by leaps and bounds since that point.
And this was a good bounce back win for the Texans because they were humiliated last week against New England. A similar situation when they lost to Green Bay earlier in the year, but because that win was so early in the year, didn't seem to have the importance that last week's loss did. So they came back after the Green Bay loss, and they came back now after the New England loss.
Yeah, it's a touchback. Graham does his job. Indy will have it at the 20, and this is what's coming up for Houston. Home game against Minnesota next week, and then they travel to Indianapolis to wrap up the regular season and get ready for the playoffs. Number 1 seed still very much within reach for Houston. If they win out, they beat Minnesota, beat Indianapolis, they will be the top seed in the AFC. For the Colts, they came in having won 7 of their last 8, including 3 in a row. Luck. Thrown down by Barwin. It'll be a sack for Connor Barwin with 52 seconds left. Colts have no timeouts remaining. The 5th Houston sack of the day. And the Colts aren't in any rush here. Shipley is limping, and remember, they're down Samson Satelli, the center. And Shipley wants to stay on the field.
And he's getting told by Tony Hills, get off.
Well, that might have been part of the reason why he wanted to stay. It was easier to just snap the ball than it would have been to run off the field for Shipley. And that's going to be a penalty.
They're going to run 10 seconds off the clock here for the injury.
Inside of 2 minutes, when a team does not have a timeout remaining and the clock is running, requires a 10-second runoff.
Well, if you look forward now for Indianapolis, remember, they still have to win to get into the playoffs.
That's right.
They're down Satelli, the normal center. Didn't make the trip, nor did Winston Justice. And Shipley looks seriously injured as he limps off on that right leg.
So Tony Hills is in. He slides in for Mike McGlynn, and McGlynn shifts over to center. He's played center in his NFL career with Philadelphia and Cincinnati. Down to 14 seconds left. Luck, chance to pad his numbers. That's about it. Kobe Fleener with the catch. And that'll do it. They're going to give him a second. They will. They're already setting off the fireworks. One second remaining on the clock. Texans begin to celebrate. Gary Kubiak just got a bath. The Houston Texans improved to 12-2. They have clinched the AFC South for the 2nd consecutive year. Reggie Wayne, 61 straight games of at least 3 catches. That's going to come to an end unless he makes a grab here. And I don't believe he's even on the field, is he? Luck throws. And a diving grab that ends play for Wayne. So he does make the catch. And the streak continues, but it's irrelevant right now for Indy. Bounce back for the Houston Texans. 29-17, they win it over the Colts and win the AFC South. Coming up, NFL on CBS continues. The Steelers take on the Cowboys. The Chiefs meet the Raiders. For Dan Fouts, the rest of our crew, I'm Ian Eagle. So long from Houston. Coming up after these messages, the NFL Today update presented by Farmers Insurance. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl.